Chappell Roan won't endorse Kamala Harris.
I just woke up, and to like people just skewing it even more, endorsing and voting are completely different. I don't agree with a lot of what is going on with like policies. Like, obviously, policies of the right, but also fuck some of the policies on the left. That's why I can't endorse. That's why I can't like put my entire name and my entire project behind one, because there is no way I can stand behind some of the left's completely transphobic and completely genocidal views. So yeah,
She's saying like the Democratic Party.
there are huge problems on both. You know what is right and wrong, and so do I. F Trump for real, but f some of the shit that has gone down in the Democratic Party that has failed people like me and you. And more so, Palestine. And more so, every marginalized community in the world. So no, I'm not gonna settle for what the options that are in front of me. And you're not gonna make me feel bad for that. So yeah, I'm voting for fucking Kamala. But I'm not settling for what has been offered, because that's questionable. It's questionable that our actions of our government, the actions of the internet, the actions of you and me. If this is what you are not understanding, you know what? Endorsing someone, if someone is publicly endorsing a political figure, that doesn't even mean that they're gonna vote for them.
You need to interview her, please. I tried. I don't think it'll happen, but it's all good. But what's really funny about this take is that like Chappell Roan is demonstrating one, I think, like sound judgment on the matter. It's ironic because it's something that I experience on a daily basis by annoying people, and I think that a lot of the criticism is just like liberals who are Zionists themselves, who try to couch their criticism towards her with like lesser evil voting and like aesthetic posturing. But the real reasons why they're upset is because, you know, they can't say that they hate that she is pro-Palestine. That's, I think, what it is for a lot. I'm sure there's like plenty of liberals who are automatically like blue no matter who people, right? Like there are plenty of people who are blue no matter who people who maybe even are pro-Palestinian to a degree, right? But they're still team players, and they've been conditioned into churning out this like, why the fuck won't you say you're gonna vote for Kamala Harris and like swing loudly and proudly for her, you piece of shit. But beyond that, I think a big part of it is definitely from a lot of yeah, this is I agree with this. I would like to take this opportunity to point out that a lot of people leading the hate against Chappell are Zionists. The reason they're attacking her is because she used her platform to speak up about Palestine. This is a very dangerous targeted hate campaign. Watermelon ISIS. As soon as I see Watermelon ISIS, I know for a motherfucking fact that that is a fake account. Watermelon ISIS doesn't care about Gaza or Palestinians. They just hate Jews. This is what the cowardly watermelons for Palestine should have been doing. I've been at this point with the pro-Palestine movement since December of last year, when those protesters ran up a gathering of black community leaders and punched one of our mothers in the face. Glad to see everyone's waking up to this bullshit finally. This is a Fed. This is a federal agent. Okay, that person was. And there are definitely a lot of examples of such things as well. I'm tired of artists like Chappell Roan profiting off of queer and drag culture and then refusing to do the bare minimum when it comes to standing up for LGBTQ rights. What has Hamas done for LGBTQ people in Palestine? We don't govern Palestine. Why should Americans vote based on how Hamas treats Palestinian LGBTQ people? The left's ability to not comprehend basic political skills and expecting a presidential candidate to not condemn supporters of a terrorist group must be studied. Talking about pro-Palestinian demonstrators there. I'm sorry, but there's no defending this. Guaranteed this guy uses Zionist as a slur. Noah Schnapp isn't a bad person, and wishing death upon him isn't okay. Most Americans are pro-Israel. He had to say that. Apparently the Uyghur genocide and sending arms to Israel are equally bad now. Biden isn't weak on Israel. He's just not overreacting like someone like you would. Chappell Roan is an embarrassment to lesbians because we support Israel in this house. Like, I think that straight up, a lot of the resentment towards Chappell Roan saying like, I'm not comfortable full-blown endorsing Kamala Harris because of her positions, like undying loyalty and commitment to continuing Israel's genocide. I think that a lot of people are masquerading as people who are like genuinely concerned about Chappell Roan's statements about the Democratic Party. But I think personally that they are, what is this? I didn't even get to the other side of the conversation. The second sentiment that I would like to express here is that she is basically repeating something that like the overwhelming majority of under 30-year-olds feel. Sure, they might not be Twitter chirpers with like a decent amount of followers on Twitter invested in the outcome of the Democratic Party because they fancy themselves to be Democratic Party mouthpieces or operatives. But if you've ever interacted with someone under the age of 30, you know that this is precisely how they also feel. And this is not the first election, nor it will be the last election where the underage the under 30 demographic feels this way about the party, when the party does not even communicate or choose to communicate anything that is like functionally helpful for the under 30 demographic of voters. It's not like the Democratic Party has presented a solution to the problems that they perceive, the problems that they're experiencing. So this attitude is actually quite commonplace. So I don't even know how. I don't really fully understand how people are yelling at her over this at all.
Because as I said in my other video, actions speak louder than words. And I'm not gonna let this narrative of like me not playing both sides. No. This is not me playing both sides. This is me questioning both sides because this is what we have in front of us. So if you look at my statement and you're still like, she's just playing both sides, like she doesn't wanna, no, you're not getting it.
I don't know, isn't like 80% of the Democrat position good for young people, to be fair? No, what the are you talking about? Just stop asking this question and start telling me what you think is like good for young people, okay?
I'm critiquing both sides because they're both so up. Voting is all we have right now in the system. And so I encourage it yet again, vote for who in your mind is the best option for what we have right now. Because it's all we can do. And I hope this makes it clear that no, I'm not picking the sides of what we.
No, they don't care. They don't care. They do not care. They're gonna fucking literally keep relentlessly yelling at you and saying a vote for not Kamala is a vote for Trump. You guys honestly do not deserve to win ever again. Twice her age, purposely recording yourself in front of all your degrees to talk down to her for expressing completely valid concerns is exactly why no one under 30 wants to vote for the Democrats anymore. Let's see what this snarky liberal video looks like, but hey, let's finish this first.
We have right now. Yes, one's obviously better than the other, but Jesus Christ, I hope you don't settle for what we have and put your name behind someone that you don't fully trust. Because of
yeah, I mean, it makes total sense, dude. Like, endorsement is different than like going out and voting for someone anyway. But beyond that, like, if you want someone's vote or their endorsement, you have to earn it. This is the basis of democracy. Okay, that is what the democratic process is supposed to be about. How ridiculous that the Democratic Party has completely lost this attitude. Like, they've just like. And I'm not even talking about the party, actually. I'm talking about the fucking voters, like the ride or diers for the Dems. They act like that is a utterly incomprehensible position. They act like you are against the very notion of democracy if you don't immediately subscribe to one party over the other. This does not mean the other party is good. The reality of the matter is, if a vote not for Kamala Harris is a vote for Trump, a vote not for Trump is a vote for Kamala Harris. There you go. You know, if someone tells you that, oh, you don't want to vote for Kamala Harris? Well, you're voting for Trump then. And it's like, no, I'm not voting for Trump. Then I guess I'm voting for Kamala Harris. Shut the fuck up. I think it's fair to say I may have a lower bar than other voters, but that doesn't entitle me to criticize them for having a higher bar. That's the nature of a democracy. I can cast a note while acknowledging that it's a different issue from getting millions of others to cast votes too. A lot of libs project their own preferences on the people, which is ridiculous and unrealistic. Yeah, it's also not how this process works demonstrably, which is precisely the reason why Hillary Clinton lost. Your reading is getting really good. Thank you.
Their blatant actions.
Let's see how the liberals are reacting to this. I'm sure very normally.
Woke up.
Well, good morning.
Obviously.
This is a very clear attempt to not lose her right-wing fan base. What? You have to be schizophrenic if you think that she has, one, a right-wing fan base, and two, is desperately trying to maintain her right-wing fan base by being like, I have issues with the Democratic Party. I hate Donald Trump. I have issues with the Democratic Party. It is akin to saying, I am trying to desperately, because what she said is not all that different from what I say. Obviously, I have more information backing the things that I'm saying. But like beyond that, it's like, but why not say Kamala? She says she has a preference, obviously, because she explained it well. I don't think she wants to endorse Kamala Harris and considers it to be up. It's what they do say, as stupid as it is. Wait, what? Dude, you ascribed a cynical reason as to why she came out and said this. And it's kind of funny that you did that. It's kind of funny that you did that because it says she doesn't want to endorse Kamala Harris. Because there are still a lot of things that she does that, or she has done, that is you know, that is not in line with what she believes. But why not support her fan base by endorsing someone who clearly supports policy that would help them? Because she's not. Because she isn't. She isn't supporting policy that would help them. What are you saying? You're just imagining. If some of the policies you want are, hey, I'm anti-genocide, and Kamala Harris is like, well, I'm pro-genocide, sorry, then that's directly at odds with what you're talking about. You're just wishing that maybe there are some policies out there. She made another TikTok where she says she's for Kamala. Yeah, the libs bullied her into assuming the position. The libs bullied her into submission. Next up, they will yell at her for not being enthusiastic enough. Anyway, it doesn't work in this way. Also, yeah, like literally, name one policy of Kamala Harris that is pro-LGBTQ without mentioning what Donald Trump is going to do. Name one policy of Kamala Harris that you think is good that isn't directly at odds what she will magically do against Donald Trump. This is the 2016 trap that Hillary Clinton landed on as well. Small business tax credits, moving the goalposts a bit, are we? Wait, what? How is that moving the goalpost? That is the goal and the post. That has been my goalpost. Why do I do any political commentary if none of you motherfuckers listen to a single damn thing I'm saying? Why do you think I'm so mad all the time about Kamala Harris not actively communicating what the true issues are, what so many Americans feel, what so many Americans experience, and then communicating a way to solve those problems through what you would consider progressive policies, progressive economic policies? There's nothing in her agenda that is like getting you to vote for her, and everything in her agenda that is still reiterating the position that you're voting against Trump. It's so funny to have this conversation also when the Democratic Party itself has moved the goalposts on immigration, which is why so many dumb fucks who never actually gave a single shred of a fuck about immigrants at all are literally not even using that as a talking point because they're at least too embarrassed to use that as a talking point or too stupid to say, see, but Trump would be significantly worse on immigration. Perhaps if that's the case, Kamala Harris should communicate that, no? If this same exact conversation was happening in 2020, and it did actually, not even was, because people were like, Hasan, why are you not enthusiastic about supporting Joseph Robinette Brandon? And at the time, there were other issues. They would at least use immigration because Brandon had presented a pro-immigrant agenda against Donald Trump's horrifying anti-immigrant policies. 4 years later, the Democratic Party has adopted Donald Trump's 2020 platform for immigration. And now I don't hear the same chirpers even bring up immigrants because it's simply a talking point for you. It's not something that you genuinely care about. While there is a little bit of truth in the harm reduction argument, the harm reduction counter, right? Like in theory, you are not wrong. Will Trump be worse than Kamala Harris? Yes, of course Trump will be worse than Kamala Harris. No, I'm talking about name one thing Harris did as a reason to not recognize Trump as a presidency would be a disaster for us who are trans. You can't say shit from the security of where you are, but I am scared as shit at what can happen. What are you talking about? Are you oblivious to the reality of all the right-wing legislation that has passed through state legislatures that are anti-trans as a trans person? Like, are you hallucinating a different reality right now under the Biden administration? What the are you talking about? No trans speakers of the DNC, no mention of trans people in the Democratic Party platform. You're just hallucinating a position for the Democrats that will defend you when they've already cast aside immigrants, which is a significantly larger, more consequential talking point than trans people are by just simply the numbers. Trans people are a tiny sliver of the American population. So they're not even bringing up trans people. They've already dropped the ball on that front. They've even dropped the ball on immigration. And you're over here. Again, you did it. You did it. There you go. And you don't think Trump would make it unimaginably worse. You did it. This is why I said, name one thing that is pro you, okay, pro for you, that the campaign has communicated about you or to you that does not involve what Donald Trump would do that would make things worse. Because everyone here understands that reality. I'm not one of these like accelerationists, like, oh no, I'm a MAGA communist type shit. Like, I'm not doing any of that. What you fail to consider is that this conversation is not about me and it's not about you. This is not how people vote. People do not vote on harm reduction. People make the choice to stay on the couch or go out and vote for a candidate. It is up to the candidate and it is up to the party and it's up to the candidate run to make sure that those people that are sitting on the fucking couch in normal elections, this couch is obviously the plurality of the voter eligible population, to go out and vote for a candidate. They're not doing that. Anyway, also I'm obviously a foe and transphobic, just like Chappell Roan is. That's why secretly, or it is from my position of privilege. I'll ask you like this, chatter. If the Democratic Party actively communicated anti-trans legislation like they've done with immigrants, would you personally sit there and say, excuse me, the Democrats are still better than how bad the Republicans will be? Because it's expected that the Republicans will also be even worse than the Democrats, just like the Democrats have, actively communicated anti-immigrant policies, and the Republicans have gotten even worse on that front. In that circumstance, as a trans person, if you're a single issue voter and your issue is understandably trans existence, would you expect me as a political commentator who's on your side to sit idly by and say, well, Democrats are saying they want to kill trans people themselves, and the Republicans are now saying they're going to put trans people in a machine to use them as biomatter. One is a little bit worse than the other, so I guess we have to make the mental calculation and say we're going to kill 30% of trans people. Sucks to suck. Would you expect me to say that for trans people, or would you expect me to swing from the goddamn rooftops about how unimaginably insane it is that the Democratic Party has dropped the ball on yet another marginal group of people that they're supposed to be representing change for, that are supposed to be defending? That's the difference. You don't give a fuck about Palestinians. You're trans. You think in your mind that Kamala Harris cares about you when she's not even made any assurances to you, when she's not even said that she's going to defend you. You don't care about Palestinians. You don't care about Muslims. You don't care about Arabs. You don't care about immigrants, right? I do. These are things I care about. And I care about trans people in the same exact way. And if the Democratic Party was saying these exact same things and showing their and demonstrating their lack of interest in defending trans people, I'd be swinging from the rooftops about that too. How the hell is that a legitimate argument? Yes, I recognize the best case, vote for harm reduction. Okay, so you are saying as a trans person, if the Democratic Party platform tomorrow, because nobody cares about trans people in general, they're marginalized to begin with, if the Democratic Party's platform in the same vein as immigration swung wildly to the right, and they were saying Republicans want to kill 70% of trans people, we want to kill 30% of trans people, you would say, yeah, 30% of trans people are going to die. I'm voting for Kamala Harris. Is that what you honestly would do in that situation? A party that can so willingly cast aside the lives of millions of people living on U.S. soil right now will absolutely drop you like a bad habit the moment they don't consider you to be advantageous. And as a matter of fact, the Democrats kind of have already. They have done very little to protect trans people in general. As the Republican Party is, that's not reality. I am voting in this reality. No, that is the reality. That is the reality for tens of millions of migrants living on U.S. soil currently. That is the reality for millions of Palestinians and their family members that live on U.S. soil currently. It's just not your reality because you don't give a fuck about them. This is what you don't understand. That's why I changed the dynamic to what would you do if you were in the crosshairs? You don't understand an analogy or how it works. You don't care. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. She's better on all those issues. It's so funny because this community is 15% trans and most of them share my opinion on the matter. So I find it very funny when someone comes in here and hits that like, well, I'm trans and you're not, and they're going to kill me and you're privileged and that's why it doesn't matter to you. Like, okay, got it. Well, don't worry. Don't worry. When the time comes and the Democratic Party shows once again that they do not care about you either, as they haven't really even made a big assurance to defend your civil liberties regardless, I will be there defending you and defending your rights and trying to make sure that you don't get killed or detained, just like I'm doing right now for people who do not have a voice in this process, whether they are Palestinian, whether they are Muslim Americans, whether they have family members in Palestine, whether they are migrants living on U.S. soil, participating in the American economy in very meaningful ways, just living their daily lives as there's a pogrom that is headed their way, spearheaded by the Republican Party, with no one on the other side actually trying to fight back against that. That's what solidarity is about. You don't understand that concept because you're a selfish American, okay? You're a selfish, hyper-individualistic, first world American individual. And you are operating like that, which is why I tried to use that selfish, hyper-individualistic attitude to help you understand what you're saying right now, but it's not working. You're just never going to see it. You're never going to experience it, and you're never going to understand it. It's fine. But a Democratic Party that voluntarily casts aside tens of millions of migrants living on U.S. soil right now will absolutely not even think twice before dropping you from the platform. As a matter of fact, they already have. They're doing that for Haitian migrants right now. Haitian migrants are under attack, non-stop, left and right from the Republican Party. They're not even standing in solidarity with them. They're not even saying the things that they're supposed to say, okay? Liberals 10 years ago would at least be like, we're a nation of immigrants. How dare you say that, sir? That is racist. They've completely dropped that. I don't even hear that shit. Kamala is the daughter of 2 immigrants. She is literally a direct product of American immigration and what it can be. She is a living, breathing success story. I might not agree with a lot of the things that she has done, but ultimately I see that reality. It's in front of me. I see it with my own 2 eyes, and she does not have the moral courage to stand there and even speak out against other black immigrants that are under attack by the Republicans. If a black woman can't even defend other black migrants that are under attack by insanely racist sentiment, why the do you as a trans person think she's gonna defend you? You are hallucinating. You're just literally hallucinating. This is a careerist. That's it. But fear not. In spite of all of this, I still do perceive Kamala Harris as winning the upcoming election. So don't worry. Your stay of execution will be granted. You will have 4 more years as Republicans still make your lives living hell, and the Democrats they'll throw their hands to the side and go, there's nothing we can do about it. The Senate parliamentarian stopped us or some shit. Oh, the position of the Democratic Party cannot always and forever be, we are not the Republicans. And for the record, I don't even care. If you want to vote for Kamala Harris, vote till the cows come home. Vote every day. I don't give a shit. But if you come in here and tell me that I'm wrong for this assessment, well, I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Sorry. It's just the goddamn truth, okay? Yes, they are doing it in both cases. That doesn't really change the thing about the danger posed here, doesn't it? It doesn't? So once again, your opinion here is that, no, they will do the right thing, even though they haven't yet, but they probably will. No, you're not wrong about the assessment. You're just being asked someone who doesn't deserve it. No, I think that people need to wake up to that reality quicker rather than later. Because if you wake up to that reality and you demand change, hopefully, maybe one day the Democratic Party will be more responsive to that. First DNC since 2012 without a trans speaker, by the way. I know. That's why it's so funny where people will be like, well, I'm trans, in like one of the largest trans communities online, coming in here and being like, well, I'm trans. And because of that, I think your privilege is showing, sweetie. Like, get the out of here. What does the Democratic Party have even said about trans people? I don't think they think she's going to defend us. Most trans arguments for harm reduction are genuinely 80% Hitler versus 101% Hitler, trying to get stabbed 20 times versus 50 times because we know what's coming regardless. Exactly. And that's incredibly frustrating. But I hope that trans people in this community know and expect someone like myself to go out to bat for you unconditionally when the Democratic Party doesn't communicate any kind of like active policy prescription to make your lives a little bit better. Like, that's my point. And I'm doing that right now for people who have family members over there in Palestine and Lebanon who are getting mercilessly bombed with our tax dollars. And I'm doing that right now in the same exact way that I would do it for trans people. I'm doing that right now for migrants living on U.S. soil that have no fucking other outlet or avenue that will defend them. So it would be ridiculous for me to drop any one of these marginalized communities because I'm making an electoral calculus. And I'm also warning you, I hope you understand, like, I'm giving you a warning. The Democratic Party basically sees you as a nuisance, okay? That's it. They don't even want to be like associated with you. They don't even want to put you up as a goddamn speaker at the DNC because they don't want to be associated with you. They think you are political poison. And a party that doesn't even aesthetically defend you is certainly not going to defend you on the legislative side, as is clear from some of the worst aspects of anti-trans legislation coming under the Biden administration through state legislatures. So my argument for you is, instead of coming in here and yelling at me, someone who is your ally, someone who is on your side, someone who wants the best for you, someone who wants your material conditions to improve, go yell at the Democratic Party, which seemingly doesn't want to hear what you have to say, which is why you find that to be a senseless effort of futility, which is precisely the reason why you're in here yelling at me, because that makes you feel better. That's it. It comes from a place of powerlessness. That's what you are experiencing right now. Powerlessness. Because the Democratic Party communicates over and over again that they don't give a fuck about you. You better fucking vote for them and shut the fuck up. And because you feel utterly powerless in front of this giant machine, right, that does not care about your well-being even a little bit, you have to delude yourself into thinking that you're moving the needle in a positive direction by yelling at someone who can hear you, because you feel like there is a little bit of change at least you can have, or at least you can like release a pressure valve here, you know, get it off your chest. And that's it. That's why so many people beyond like the Zionists that are couching their harm reduction arguments by launching these like ridiculous attacks against Chappell Roan are doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing. Like there's a lot of liberals who are just like yelling at her because they just feel like they are utterly powerless in the face of this goddamn death machine that is hell-bent on death and destruction, that they know deep down inside do not care about their well-being. Watching Chappell Roan over-explain herself after being misunderstood, but she doesn't know these people aren't looking for an explanation. They already made their minds up about her. Oh, honey. Yep. That's why it's funny when you think about like, oh yeah, just watch Chappell Roan reasonably argue that she would like better candidates while she clearly stating she thinks Harris is the better candidate, then read endless comments from Harris supporters saying Roan is an idiot. This is called behavior. She's on your side. Why demand absolute loyalty? Because once again, they feel powerless. That's it. So they want to yell at someone. So they feel better. Twitter is the only place where well-articulated sentences still get misinterpreted. You can say, I don't agree with Kamala's genocidal policies, and someone will say, so you're a Republican and support Trump? No, bitch, that's a whole new sentence. What the fuck is you talking about? Yeah. Pronouncing Kamala's name as Kamala, it was all I needed to know about Chappell Roan and ignore her views forever. Just loud and dumb. Rise and fall of a Midwestern clown. Oh yeah, Jake Tapper. Name searches, it seems. At least be man enough to tag me with your lies, Matt. The fact that Tapper, Greenblatt, and others can engage in a multi-day defamation campaign against Rashida Tlaib by blatantly miscoding her and face zero repercussions for it is a great example of the institutional anti-Palestinian bias she called out in the first place. Great take. If protesting the vote doesn't move Dems left and voting based on harm reduction doesn't work, then what do we do? What options of substance do we have? How do we stop being powerless? You work locally and you try to improve. You organize. You work locally and you try to improve your material conditions one step at a time for those around you. That's the only thing you can do, and hope that this network of organization will inevitably be able to create a pressure point for at least one of the two parties. I love how Chad will get mad about you voting while you've literally donated with the community and done more for trans people than the Democratic Party has in the last 4 years. Yeah, but it is what it is. You know, I'm transphobic, as you guys know. And it's so funny because Chappell Roan also does that. Like her ticket sales or merch sales, like she does fundraisers through her work, directing it to Palestinian aid groups and LGBTQ aid groups. Like that's why it's hilarious when people are like, yeah, you're not sufficiently pro LGBTQ.
Honestly, fuck the policies of the right.
All right, we're on the same page on that one.
But also, some of the policies on the left.
Oh, now you lost me.
That's why I can't like put my entire name and my entire project behind one.
I mean, that's kind of how voting works right now in America.
Sick. If you met her, I just know you would vibe. Okay, guys, stop being parasocial, all right?
So, yeah, I'm voting for fucking Kamala.
All right, we're back on the same page. It's pronounced Kamala, though.
You know what? Endorsing someone, if someone is publicly endorsing a political figure, that doesn't even mean that they're gonna vote for them.
I mean, what's the strategy behind that? I mean, after the primaries, I don't think that's a thing. I don't think there's any benefit to a corporation or person endorsing a candidate in a general election and not actually doing it. So you're losing me again.
No. This is not me playing both sides.
Sure about that?
I'm critiquing both sides because they're both so up.
I think a big part of it too is that the libs recognize that you're right, but rather than get mad at the Dems, they get mad at waking them up from the collective dream of Dems being the good guys. No, I don't think that's an IDF dog tag. I think that's just a Star of David. The IDF dog tags are much larger, chat. Chill.
Yep, sounds like you're playing both sides.
Voting is all we have right now in the system.
I mean, that kind of is the system of democracy. But yeah, there's a lot more you could do in between elections.
I think he's a doctor, but yeah, he has a doctorate in being a dick. Got him. We know your MAGA hat is off screen. I mean, it literally is. Hold on. What now, liberals? What now? The truth is out.
I encourage it yet again. Vote for who in your mind is the best option for what we have right now.
Yeah, Kamala Harris is definitely our best option.
Okay, I can't watch the rest of this. This guy's so annoying. 2020 hat, get with the times. That's when things were great, brother. This guy's next video is Chef's Kiss. Critical thinking. Yeah, he's just saying what he doesn't have. Gen X lives with the most annoying with these takes. People over 40 are the only ones doing this shit. Also, the Trump Vance hat is actually too gross. Why did it take so long for you to grab your MAGA hat? Because are you checking how sufficiently pro-Trump I am? Yeah, okay, it was far away. It was far away, god damn it. Okay, too far from my liking. That's why I put it on my goddamn head. If you had an intruder, you wouldn't be able to put it on and grab your rifle fast enough. That's what you think. You keep your hat closer than your gun, you hear me? Nah, I keep my gun way closer. If an intruder comes in, I got the gat. Please get an RFK MAGA hat. No. TikTok about the current state of the Democratic Party.
Democrats have realized that they no longer need to use Medicare for all and a livable minimum wage and climate action as the carrot to dangle in front of us anymore. Now that Roe versus Wade has been overturned, they've realized that they can just abandon those initiatives altogether and not really even acknowledge them.
Not wrong. I mean, he's spitting. He's right.
At all, and that they can now use abortion rights as the carrot to distract us and keep us super hyper focused on that one thing and not anything else as we continue to descend further and further into fascism. Rights 100% is important, and Roe versus Wade protected the right to privacy in addition to the right to abortion. And both of those things are super, super important, and I don't mean to minimize that. But we need to understand that the Democrats have never actually fought for and used their power.
By the way, Ethel Cain is such a G. Holy shit. Ethel Cain defends Chappell Roan against people demanding that she endorse Kamala Harris. Y'all cannot be stupid enough to scream Israel all year, rightfully so, and then go happily vote for Kamala. Like, she didn't just get up on that debate stage and say Israel has a right to blow the entire Levant to smithereens. Do not piss me off. That's mother. Didn't Ethel Cain say something like, I don't even want to repeat it because it might actually get me a visit from, you know, federal law enforcement. I think some of it is that she's not being specific in her critics of Kamala, and the liberals take advantage of that. No, she is. She said there isn't sufficient pro-LGBTQ messaging or legislation on the Democratic Party agenda, and also Democrats are doing genocide in Palestine. Those are pretty fucking solid foundations.